Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Gate 2, which was a Gate 2, not Gate 2, but Gate Part 2, which is the second half of the first season from Gate, Part 1 that we talked about just last week. But before that, we were talking about Reap Monster, we were talking about Berserk, we were talking about all kinds of stuff. We were talking about possibly having some guests drop in place of Rick for a couple of episodes, for various reasons. And if you want to catch a part of that wider conversation, go to patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $1 a month to get you access to that bonus content. And of course, if you want to help support us, help us grow through other means, we also have the affiliate links for you in the show notes for Crunchyroll. You get yourself a nice little free trial when you use our affiliate link, or you could get yourself a discount off of their store as well. And then, of course, if you want to get yourself some nice, tasty, delicious treats, or maybe gift someone some nice, delicious, tasty treats, you can use our coupon code Featured Anime along with our affiliate link for Tokyo Treats and get yourself $5 off that very first box. And trust me, those treats are oh so delicious and they are oh so worth it. I am never disappointed. In fact, I sit down in front of the TV, watch the week's choice of anime while I gorge on the whole box in one sitting. I in no way feel guilty about it every single time. And of course,
it's just so easy to do.
It honestly, it really is. But you can also go to shop.featuredanimepodcast.com and help support us by buying yourself some nice swanky swag. And now on to the me and Brotatoes. Gate Part 2, which came out in January 2016, ran all the way through March 2016. It is 12 episodes long. A couple producers for it are Genko, Warner Brothers, Clockworks, Bandai Namco. The studio for it is A1 Pictures. It's based off of a light novel. It is action, adventure, fantasy, military isekai anime, and it is the second half is 12 episodes long. Now, as stated in the last week's episode, this is still going to be technically season 1. They just broke it up into 2 separate parts with a few months in between part 1 and part 2, but it is still classified as season 1. And the second part does actually take place directly after where part 1 left off, and it continues the story of our favorite Itami lieutenant and the JSDF force as they navigate through the complexities of the special region that they're in, a fantasy world that is basically connected to Japan through a very mysterious Greek-looking gate, and basically, they dive deeper into this one, more so on the political aspects as well as espionage portions of it, at least in the isekai portion of the world, and focusing on the cultural exchange as well between the two individuals, or the two nations, I guess. 2 worlds is basically how it is. But as well as the kind of the resolution to some of the more outlandish portions of the show.
Yeah, I'll say that. And they do really well here to kind of explain the history. I feel like they've really delved into what the gate actually means and how everything. I don't think they came into why it's so undeveloped or underdeveloped compared to the world, but they also tell you that the world of the gate seems to be kind of sporadic when they bring new people in, or when the gate opens up.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that, like, at the end of this season, the gate was still open, thankfully, but it kind of threw a monkey wrench in my idea last episode we were on, where like, these are untapped resources. They're basically inexhaustible. They're amazing. And you enhance whatever country has access to it. You would enhance their financial and technological ability 100-fold, because you now have another world to pull from. But now that I'm thinking about it, like, we don't know how long this gate's going to stay open for. So everyone that goes across the gate to do these things, to mine minerals, to give aid, it could be a one-way trip and they just don't know it. And vice versa. People coming from that world over here, like Rory, when with the apostle who came to this world, it could be a one-way trip because the gate could close down at any point in time. Nobody that I've seen has really delved into the idea that it could close or would close or timeline of when it might happen.
Yeah.
And it makes me think. Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, I wish they dived into the more along the lines of how or when and why it closes, and along the exact same time as to how and when and why it opens, right? As well as because there's got to be repercussions. There's got to be a downfall to it, right? Where something happens, right? So there has to be a negative outcome for it staying open for an extended period of time. And the one thing, and I'll say this because you brought up and you're like, well, it's amazing that this world hasn't progressed so far or hasn't progressed as far as what it should have. Well, the reason why, and this is kind of broached and talked about subtly in other animes and other shows, but it's also kind of a mainstay too. It's when you have magic, it really hinders the technological progress of it because a lot of it can be easily overcome or explained away through the use of magic. Oh, you have to build this very large construct. Well, you don't have to have these giant cranes or anything like that. You just have to have someone that knows magic to lift this up. You're not relying on technology. You're relying on people to do the work. And magic is very prevalent in that world.
Incredibly. Yes. And it also makes you think, well, it made me think, if magic is still usable when they come to our world or to Japan, what makes them think that? What restricted them from being like, if they use magic, we might be able to use magic. Hey, maybe you might be able to try to teach somebody or barter a school to learn magic, and what kind of resource it was. Now, I always assumed that magic was individualized, like you have your own capacity to do stuff, just like I can lift 50 pounds 10 times, let's say, whereas you could lift 50 pounds 300 times, and it would cost the same effort, that kind of thing. And magic might be the same, or magic could be very similar to the Force, where we're all pulling from one pool, and now you have a second world to pull that pool from. Maybe you're now, because you're the only one using magic, you have access to a greater amount, things like that. Granted, this wasn't the point of the show, but it was an interesting thought for me to have, to try to delve in and try to try to expand upon. And there's so many different things they did not go with, which understandable because, you only have a limited amount of runtime. And they kind of focused specifically on, I would almost call it warfare, but maybe warfare is not the correct term. Maybe the correct term would be political strategy. Does that make sense?
For magic?
Well, no. The reason they didn't focus on expanding magic abilities and magic capabilities, like if someone came through a portal and started using magic, my first question wouldn't be, what can you do? It'd be, can I do it? And you have a whole bunch of Harry Potter fans out here who would be like, if they can do it, I could try. It's real. We can try. We can do it. And, if there's some kind of prerequisite, they never expanded on that. But again, that wasn't the point of the show. But it would have been a really nice little offshoot in my mind.
Right. But also at the exact same time, in that other world, there's not everyone used or showcased magic either. So I don't think that it's quite prevalent in every people, but for the people that do utilize or use it, master it, or anything like that, they do have the ability to kind of based based on the fact that magic does exist, does hamper the technological acceleration or the technological growth of
that would absolutely make sense. Why would you need to make a gun when you can fire a flame 200 yards and have an almost unlimited resource? Because bullets are very finite. Once you run out, you run out.
Yes.
I liked the fact that they made it a point to be like heavy artillery and heavy like bazookas still have some effect on dragons and on things that don't really have a natural defense. Like, yeah, they've got harder scales and they can take a bigger hit from bullets, and you got to aim at the eyes and stuff like that. But the fact that they were able to be like, well, I have an RPG that can blow off a dragon arm. I have this. We have C4. We have a practical means in which to defeat these magical creatures that, regular magicians don't have the ability to. And I thought it was really interesting. Now that I keep going back to magic, but it was the most fascinating part for me. One of the things I really, really enjoyed about the development beyond magic is you find out that one of the party is going for the master magician thing. And in order to become a master magician, you have to, it's by committee. It's not by level, but it's by understanding. And one of the things that she found while coming to this world was a different philosophy on which to use magic, which enhanced her ability.
Hang on. Well, she does use it. We don't know what the true philosophy or what she was doing was based on it, right? She had the different ways, but
yeah,
it's not necessarily just by committee either. What they do is do we feel like your theory or your idea on it is passable enough, and then we agree with it or not. And so
just like a committee.
Yeah. But if you're rejected, you're basically plastered with paint and dye. You're not allowed to change the robes that you're wearing.
Yeah.
And you have to stay looking like that the entire time that you're in the city, and you're not allowed to I don't think they ever gave a timeline on it either, but you're not allowed to
No. I think you got to wear it till you pass.
Yeah.
Wear your shame and basically, are you sure you know your stuff? Because if you don't,
also I don't think, no, what I mean is I don't think they gave a time frame as to when you would be able to try again, because I don't think you're able to go for it again for a certain amount of time. So, and I don't think they ever specified that. So you basically either become a sage or that's it. You're out. No more. Right? I don't think they explored that idea. I don't think we ever really got a affirmative answer on it. We do know that sometimes everyone passes, and we do know that sometimes people never pass. So it's really it's completely unbiased, and you can't stack the deck against someone else for yourself.
Well, the fact that they said that some people never pass means that they try multiple times and they fail every single time. At least that's how I interpreted it. And didn't she? Good.
No, I was going to say I don't know. I don't know.
I thought she went for her dissertation, her attempt more than once.
No, it was her first.
Now, granted, there were specific days. It was her first attempt.
Yeah, and
I thought she left the city and they brought her back.
She did leave the city, but she came back because she wanted to try. And that was the whole shtick between her and her sister. She's like, you're coming back and you're going to try for this? I haven't even tried for this. And I'm older than you. And you're going out there and doing this. But I haven't even done this. I'm older than you. And that was the whole shtick. And then all of a sudden, the sister's like, well,
three sleeps. Like, hold on, what?
Yeah, the sister's like asking Tommy, is like, oh, are you single? I was like, yes, totally. And then the sister interjects, it's like, no, you're not single. We are basically common law married. When did this happen now? We on three, it's not even 3 nights in a row. It's 3 entirely different nights in 2 different worlds.
Yeah.
Slept together and basically not even together. He just like passed out in the same room. And we slept together. That basically means we're common law married now. So deal with it, homie. That's exactly what ends up happening.
Oh yeah.
And so I also love the fact that the battles and the fights that happen. So Rory proceeds over. It's like, oh yeah, everyone just kind of accepts that magical battles just tend to erupt in the city for whatever reason. And one of the first things you do is you learn how to protect yourself. And if you just happen to lose a house, you just come back. It's like, sorry. And you have a bowl of fruit on your doorstep of where your house used to be. It's like, I'm sorry, that's messed up. It's like, and I love the kid's reaction. Yeah. Mom, wasn't our house here when we...
Yeah, we left and it was here, right? It makes me think that there was a common, like they don't have solid rent. They just have, oh, you're gonna live here until someone destroys it. Then we're just gonna move you over here and we'll move you over here, because there was no attempt for financial not remuneration. That's not the right, but recuperation. There was no well, we can make it right. No, it's like, here's a bowl of while you wait for your next house. Here's a snack and a little oopsie letter. Hopefully that does you good. And you're just like, this is interesting to say the least, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was funny. It was nice. I thoroughly, I had a good time. I had a belly laugh a few times.
Yeah, it was definitely good. I also liked that in the anime they rounded up or kind of closed off the whole dragon arc, because in the first part of the season you see the dragon, he loses an arm, but then he just kind of flies off. It's like, well, he's got to show up later on.
Becomes non-material.
Yeah, but then later on you do see that he does come back, and it is straight up. It comes back with a vengeance, so to speak, in a matter of speaking.
Yeah, he was a straight menace.
Yeah, I will say this. I think it's that whole part of it, in all honesty, is kind of ridiculous. And let me tell you why I think it's ridiculous.
Okay, why?
When he goes out there and he I'm going to use air quotes here, trains the elves to battle. It's like, first of all, they never fired any shots or anything like that. They're out there just that one time, and they train using RPGs, all of them, and every single one of them basically fired an RPG that did almost no damage. And then some of them started to do damage. Now, it could have been how they set up the RPG. They probably didn't prime it, or I don't know, pick your flavor. Yep. Or anything like that. But at the exact same time, then you have some people that are like, oh, totally, bro, let's prime this and let's do this. And other people are like, nah, bro, let's just fire this. We got this. Oh, and
watch out behind you.
All of them, for whatever reason, despite the fact of having never have fought or fired a RPG, were crack shots. All of them.
Well, I mean, there's really not much difference between an RPG and an arrow. A bow and arrow, and they're elves, so they have a natural affinity.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Blessed by the gods, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm positive. And basically, I mean, like he's basically the dark elf girl. It's like, hey, as a reward, I am basically your slave now. Enjoy me, is how it ends up working out.
Yeah,
it's like, cool. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, and he's still all the way going, I'd really rather not.
I just want to enjoy my dojin. Just let me enjoy my dojin. Let me just go and enjoy my life and everything like that. And it's like, no.
Oh, we completely skipped over there in the Black Elf's initial meeting. Rory is a man. Rory is the demigod who looks like a 13-year-old who's over 960 years old. We
talked about that in season 1. Yes,
but she has this plan to. Oh, was it season 1 that she got drunk, or no? Or trying to get drunk?
Yeah, it's not that she got drunk. She tried seducing and taking advantage of Itami, and then the spies came in, tried taking care of it, and so as a result, she ends up killing them because they ruined the moment together. But
yes,
Rory,
but in season 2,
in season 1,
in season 2 is when he met the dark. When did he meet the dark elf?
Season 1.
Oh.
Because when they first meet...
Well, I'm an idiot.
when the Dark Elf first meets him, she had just came to town. She talks a bunch of trash, assumes Rory is an underage girl, and so Itami runs away, and then he ends up having to leave for some stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's season 1.
So that was season 1. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It blending together because
let's phrase
storyline from season 1 is
first half of season 1.
First half of the season. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Yes.
All right. Well, that kind of fubs what I was going to say. I was going to reflect on that, being like, Rory's a menace. It is bullshit. But yeah, a lot of the show is comedy and good comedy. There are a few people who get the raw end of the deal. The Bunny Queen, I think, is a perfect. How would you say? The Bunny Queen is a perfect example of somebody who wants to cause the most pain to everybody, regardless of affiliation.
It's not that she wants to cause pain to everybody, regardless of affiliation. She wants to destroy the Empire for what they did to her and her people. And the only way that she can see that happening is by manipulating the prince to antagonize Japan, to get Japan to attack them.
Yeah, which I found to be very ignorant is one way to put it, but just plain dumb, because he witnessed the firepower, didn't he? He witnessed the power of one person, of one soldier taking out like 5 or 6 of his dudes on their first encounter, and then they saved the Japanese slave.
Yeah,
and then he got his butt kicked literally by a girl who he looked down upon. Judging by just that one confrontation, do you think that is just a one-off? Like, we just have a super special female soldier who can kick ass and take names and kill multiple people and have no issues whatsoever, when you also have the intel that says every one of the Japanese soldiers has not only these basic set of munitions, but most of them are skilled in combat in several different forms of air to ground to sea at sometimes. I don't think we've seen the sea part, but so many different types of vastly superior warfare, let's call it war machinery, warfare. And you still decide that, you know what, I can take them. We've got bigger numbers. Hold on. There's more than one story that you've heard, that you've got witnesses for, that were like, oh yeah, they took out a dragon. Your whole army can't take out a dragon, but they did. Your whole army, tens of thousands of people tried to take back I think they called the birthplace of the worlds, because every race seemed to have their birthplace where the gate was located. You had tens of thousands of people rush this gate, and not a single one survived. Well, no, there was one that survived, a king. But beyond even that,
no, hang on. We only know of the one that survived. Only know the one. We don't know that he was the only one that survived, right? That just means that that's a fair statement. If there were other survivors, he would not have been the only one that was taken in, right? True. And they did mention they had the POWs.
Yes,
exactly. Well, they also had the POWs, again, were referenced from first season. The 6,000 that they had captured that had come over from the other side of the gate. So it's not everyone that
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's not like everyone was just killed straight up across the board, which is why the more political aspect and the prisoner trading and everything else happened in this one more so than anything else. It also shows the differences in terms of mentality, in terms of how money is viewed in between the two worlds in the second part of this season, because they talk about and say, well, I wanted 50 million gold or whatever it is. And it's like, even if we taxed everyone 100% and gathered up all the gold in the entire empire, we still wouldn't have enough to pay you. Right. And it's like, yeah, that's just the entry bid. It's like, we're going to come in with the highest number, most extravagant number we could possibly think of. We're not expecting you to actually pay that. It's part of negotiations. you come in like with something a little bit more realistic of what you're willing to actually pay or willing to do, right? It's like,
Yeah.
it's negotiations 101. It's like, we're going to come in. It's like, hey, bro, I want your entire empire. Well, no, that's not going to happen. All right. What do you want? We'll give you this town over here. Done. That's all I actually wanted anyways.
Yeah,
They show also,
they did a really good.
They show also a lot of the more nuanced aspect of the show, like the other side characters, how life is, what the self-defense force does to gain the trust of the individuals or the people that are around them. Like in the Empire, they take out one of the prominent gangs, and now they have a bunch of people. They set up a free clinic, and at the exact same time, they now have permanent informants. It's like, hey, bro, you protected us. You're giving us free medical care. We'll totally just tell you whatever you want to know.
Yeah, for lack of a better way to put it, they created their own spy network. They showed humanitarian care to people who usually don't even get the second glance unless you want something from them.
Yeah.
And they've gained the loyalty of the lower echelon, which in most games I've seen and most anime I've seen, the not the scum, but like the lower class, the lowest class typically knows the most. So they've got a phenomenal information gathering center there, and loyalty beyond everything they could hope for incredibly inexpensive cost.
Yep.
Like basically they were looking for a glorified version of the birth control pill, and they're like, oh yeah, you can use this, and they're like, oh thanks.
Yeah, and not only
incredibly
that,
cheap over here, but
but they also delve in like, hey, the peace talks, and they really kind of have this be a central or focal point as well in this show for the peace talks, because you have a lot of the senators and everything else that are going through saying, hey, like we're basically going to showcase our military might to you in the most minor and fractional way, like the most bare minimum way. We're going to show you like the foot soldiers, not even going to show you like the big guns that we have. We're just going to show you like the basics of it, right? And taking the senators, showing them down, and then they take them to the mortars, and all of a sudden they see the mortars where it's just destroying this land like it's nothing off in the distance, and they all have these flashes of, oh, they don't even need their full force. Just that alone would destroy entire cities. Please don't kill us.
Yeah.
We want peace.
Peace sounds like a really good option.
Right? And that's the other thing, right? Is they really played to the prince's ignorance in that he thinks that he can still fight and win, versus the people that have seen the horrors or see the technological advantage that they have, to where they literally can surgically destroy a building. They don't even have to come and invade inside the building. They can just destroy it from afar, and that's it. You're done. Because normally, if you're going to kill someone, you have to go through this really intricate spy network. You have to find out how to be able to do it. Or if you wanted to take them out without having to be done through a backdoor manner, you have to basically siege the city, and then finally get to the point to where for them, it's just like, oh, we're just going to drop a bomb there and we're done. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Oh, darn. That was so much work.
Yeah. And
oh, well.
And
next.
That just makes it like so much better in the fact that he is hardcore, hard on for thinking that he can take on Japan and win. And here's the best part is Japan's actually the country that is like, hey guys, we're actually kind of the better deal in terms of the other countries you could have had coming in here, in terms of
best of a worst case.
Yeah, you literally, honestly, you guys have the best of the worst case. Everyone else probably would have just rolled over you and said, hey, you're ours now. And then we're going to institute our own version of whatever, just like pick your flavor and move on.
Yeah. No, it was Could you imagine if anybody hostile decided to show up? Just the world done. Entire populations enslaved.
Yeah.
Just massacred.
Yep.
Wouldn't even be a hardship. The only issue you'd have is either generating fuel or that's basically it. Just creating gasoline for your planes.
Yep. Or whatever else, right? In terms of natural resources. So, but anyway, we can continue on to talk about this. We could honestly drone on this for quite a while. It's a great show. The entire season as a whole 100%. Is really, really good. I did think how it ended though was kind of lackluster and left it open. Personally,
yeah, they tried buttoning stuff up that it was funny, it was cutesy, it was satisfying mostly. I feel it did leave it open ended for a third season or for a second season. A second season that we'll probably never get.
Right,
but I will say that the parts that were left open, you hurt feelings all that much.
Right. All right.
So I feel like, yes, it's a soft close, but I feel like it is a bit of a close.
Okay. So on a scale of up to 10, sir, how would you rate this anime?
For me, this anime is a solid 9. Like the first part was a 9. It was a little bit away from a 10. This, because it did give a soft close, it didn't give me a open and shut, we're done. I can't give it a 10. There was some minor other things that I was like, I could have done without, but overall, a solid 9. I recommend it to anybody. It's cute. It's fun to watch. It's got everything that you would really want out of an anime without being over the top goofy. And as far as isekais go, it was nice that nobody had to die for it to happen. And you always had a way back. And I liked the interaction or the thought, politically speaking, financially motivated, things like that. It felt like it was a more realistic, fun thing. So anyway, yeah, 9. And okay. You?
I give it an 8. Because it didn't have a real solid close. It was pretty open for the ending. They did leave some kind of questions out there in the open for me. Didn't really answer all my questions. Then they also haphazardly threw in another character on the off chance with a kind of a reference as to who they are, but it was kind of a late toss in just to have them yanked out in the exact same episode and never see or hear from them again. They make a lot of references and discussions to a lot of other characters or happenings that are going on in the world. But overall, it was a very enjoyable show. I would definitely watch it again without a hesitation. It is well worth the watch, especially if you're new to the genre. I would not say it's a great watch if you're new to the genre, in all honesty. I would say this is like after you've already dipped your toes in the water and you're already like knee high in the water, getting used to it. It's like, this isn't so bad.
Okay.
This would be about that point. Next week, we're going to be talking about Berserk of Gluttony, which was a recommendation by our very own Jebbity Jeb. Which, thank you for the recommendation. Well,
appreciate it.
That's all the time that we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you feel like we did it too much justice, not enough justice, or anything like that, feel free to let us know and reach out to us. All the contact information is in the show notes, as well as on our website at featuredanimepodcast.com. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick. And we'll see you next time.